Because if you're willing to do the work, you can have anything.
First thing we're going to cover, we're going to go from top to bottom. So the first mistake that people make that they can improve right away is the way they unrack the bar and the way they hold it on their upper back. So taking a look over here, a lot of people will put the bar on their neck instead of on their back. That's a big mistake. The second thing they do is their shoulders are often slouched forward, so their upper back is not contracted. They put their shoulders too far forward and their hands are too wide. So those are three things. The bar is on their neck, their shoulders are forward, and their hands are wide. That makes for a very unstable position. What you want to do instead is you want to be able to contract your upper back and hold the bar on your back instead of the bar crushing you. So taking a look over here, you want to contract your upper back, bring the bar from your neck to your upper back. And the third thing you want to do is you want to bring your hands a little closer to provide more stability. So now in this position, you can see that she's holding the bar. The bar isn't crushing her, she's carrying it. So stand up and unrack that. See that? That's the proper position. Shoulders back, hands close, and the bar is not on her neck, it's on her upper back. So the second thing we can do to improve our squat is correcting your pelvis. So you want to keep your pelvis neutral, which means that you don't want to tilt it too far in, which will also round your upper back, which goes back to the first point. Or if you arc your pelvis too much, which will make your upper back arc too much as well. You want to keep your spine as straight as possible throughout the whole movement. Alright, so here's the third thing we're going to do to improve our squat is by looking at the knees and correcting the knees. So as she squats, you're going to see that her knees are over top of her toes. And it's okay if your knees are a little farther out. The idea is that you don't want your knees to cave in. That's the most popular error that happens. When your knees cave in, your upper back will round, and you don't leave any room in the hips for you to actually sit down and get enough depth in your squat. So by pushing the knees out, you contract your butt and have a much more stable squat. It'll fix your upper back, which is point 1, and it'll fix your pelvis, which is point 2 we had named. Alright, you want to show us that one more time, knees in, knees out? So when her knees cave in, her upper back and her spine rounds and her pelvis tilts in. When her knees go out, she contracts her butt, she sits upright, she's in a strong position. Alright, so here's the fourth point, is by looking at the angle of the feet. Most people tend to squat with their feet straight, which doesn't really allow for the knees to open up, which was point 3. So what you want to do is put your feet at about 10-15 degree angle. It'll vary depending on your flexibility. When she squats down, it makes it much easier to keep the knees out and her butt contracted and her pelvis stable. So depending on your flexibility, depending on where you put the angle of your feet, but usually it's about 10-15 degrees. Alright, so putting it all together, all 4 checkpoints. Hands are close, it's on her upper back, not on her neck. When she steps back, her pelvis stays neutral. When she comes down, her knees are going to stay over her toes and in line. Feet are at 10-15 degrees. One more, let's do one more. Alright, so to wrap it up, the 4 things you gotta look out for is your shoulders, your hips, your knees, and your toes. If you implement these 4 things, if you perfect those 4 things, you will see a dramatic improvement in your squat immediately. And you gotta remember, if you make a mistake in one of them, they're all connected. If your shoulders are off, it'll throw everything else off. If your hips are off position, it'll throw everything else off. So it's important to have all 4. And I guarantee you'll see a dramatic change, whether your goal is to get stronger or to build muscles in your legs, or even if you want to do it for weight loss. Those 4 things are critical. Yes.
Because if you're willing to do the work, you can have anything.